this Torah has got an unusual background. It's a Torah which we usually say with the children on Thursday night, and we have it recorded. Unfortunately, the record malfunctioned, and I'm now repeating what I said yesterday, because I expect there are some of the Chaverim and the Kollel who like to have this Torah before Shabbat, and they'll be looking for it in where does it appear? In
YouTube.
In YouTube. So I'm re-recording. Yesterday I spoke in Divrei, but in order to save time on this re-recording, I shall speak in English. I talked yesterday about a pasuk in this week's Sedra, which is the Varim Chuv Ches Mem Zayin, which reads Tachas Asher Lo Yavadetem Es Hashem B'Simcha V'Toiv Leiv Bov Meroif Koil. That's the pasuk. Now what does this mean? Well, let's see what Rashi says. We looked into Rashi, and Rashi says, kol toiv. This is a punishment. The Torah, which we read earlier, is a punishment because when you had a rov koil, when you had an easy life, you weren't over Hashem b'simcha, and as a result of that, this is the punishment. If you follow that pshat, then what Rashi is saying basically is that the message here is very similar to what is brought in Pirkei Avos, Perek Dalet Mishnah Tes, where Rabbi Yoda said, Oimar, kol ha'mekayim es haTorah ma'oini, soifo elikayim ma'oisha. V'chol ha'mevatle es haTorah ma'oisha, soifo levatle ma'oini. It follows automatically. On that shot, I'd just like to tell you what I heard from Abel Pavarsky, the Rosh Yeshiva of Ponevezh. He said, I don't think that he necessarily said his own Torah, but I heard this Torah from him. He said as follows. The pshat in the Mishnah is, we have a principle that a person never gets the soyoin which is greater than what he can possibly overcome. That's a principle. This is not the next thing I'm mentioning. It's not really what a bearer said. I'd like to explain this. If you think about nisyonos, you've got to think about the purpose of nisyonos. Why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu send nisyonos at all? HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows how you will act. He doesn't have to test you in order to know what you act. And the Meforshim, or some Meforshim, say that it's not so much that it's not at all that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to know how you're going to react. It's you should know, that you should know what your koiches are. That's the point of nisyonos. that you should know you're tried, so that you yourself should know what your koiches are. So it follows from that. There's not a bearer, but that's what I say. I understand it. It follows from that. There is no point in HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving you this nisoyon which you cannot manage, which you'll fail, because they'll teach you absolutely nothing. So that's why a nisoyon that is given to you is one which is manageable. Now with that message, if you look into the Mishnah in Perkei that I mentioned, and then you see the following. There are, first of all, I should just say this, there are two types of nisyonos. There is the nisoyon of poverty, anias, that's a nisoyon, and there is this nisoyon of oisha. And some say, and that would be the pshat here in the Mishnah, that the nisoyon of oisha is even greater than the nisoyon of oini. I didn't mention when I said it told my wife this, she said she would still prefer the nisoyon of oisha, but that's not really relevant to what we are doing now. So let's look at the Mishnah in view of what I said. If you are Mekayim the Torah when you are have the nisoyon of anias, it's a sign that nisoyon isn't sufficient for you. There's not sufficient nisoyon that you're Mekayim. It's just you could do more better than that. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you the greater nisoyon. It's soifoi lekayma ma'oisha. But if you're mevatlis Torah ma'oisha, but if you find the greater nisoyon, the nisoyon of ashiras, is more than you can put up with, more than which you can manage, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, there's obviously too much of a nisoyon, ashiras, and he gives you only. Now that it would explain Rashi's pshat in our Mishnah, in our pasuk Taran Shalav Hashem v'simcha v'tov levov. Simcha and tov levov, of course, it seems to be nisoyon, which is more than you can hope to manage. I would like to suggest, however, and I'm sure others before have this explanation of this pasuk, where they say, you see, it's like, this is like v'samachtu b'chagecho, which I hope to talk about B'ezrat Hashem Sukkot. It can be v'samachtu on the occasion of the Chag on Yom Tov, or v'samachtu b'chagecho. Your simcha is actually the Chag, that Sukkot or Shavuos, that gives you the simcha. And the pshat is on the occasion of Chag, so that Busa v'Yayim will be sufficient to do that for you. Now the same here. You've got Tachas Hashem v'simcha v'tov levov can mean at the time, that's Rashi's pshat, at the time that you had, it was v'simcha v'tov levov, at that time you weren't over to Hashem. Another pshat is, no, you were Oved Hashem. Push it. You were Oved Hashem, but you weren't Oved Hashem b'simcha. But if you say that pshat, you have a problem. The man is Oved Hashem. So because he's not b'simcha, all the Torah will hit him. It doesn't. It's not mekabel adas. So we have to analyze a little bit more the meaning of simcha. And here I'd like to make the following suggestion. When we're talking about simcha, we're not talking about the person enjoying himself. It's having fun, as you say. Simcha here means real simcha. Now, what gives a person real simcha in life? I would suggest that every person has an image of himself. He has an image of what he is and what he stands for, and the job of a man is to live with that image and live up to the image. If the image is totally wrong, a wrong image, he misunderstands his personality entirely, he'll have a disaster. But a man has an image, and if he can reach his image, then he has simcha. And when he can't reach his image, then he is lost. We're just now in the week of elections, and so let's talk about Netanyahu. Now, if you offered Netanyahu to become Minister of Transport, he wouldn't be very thankful to you. That's not his image of himself. That's not what he wants. If you take the ordinary person, if you give me the Ministry of Transport, I might feel very happy about it. I'll have a free car and the chauffeur and all the great happiness from that, perhaps. But for the Netanyahu, that would be a disaster. That's not his image. So what we're saying is that a man's happiness, real simcha, comes to a man when he's got the correct image of himself and his achievements match his image. And then that gives him simcha, and that is the real simcha. It's not enjoyment, but it's real simcha. It's a satisfaction that your life is meaningful, and the person that you have to satisfy in life more than anybody else is yourself. If you're not satisfied with yourself, you're not going to have anybody else either. That is the real simcha. Now, with this hadacha, with this on this basis, we now understand why the whole of the Torah hits you. Tachas asher avadtem es Hashem b'simcha. You were Oved Hashem, but you weren't b'simcha. If being Oved Hashem b'simcha, if you be Oved Hashem does not give you simcha, there's a sign that that's not what you really want. you don't really want to be in Ovid Hashem. And then you understand why this results in the disaster of the Torah. I added yesterday, because it's a suggestion, but not so clear that this is worth repeating, since we lost the first version, but I will do it all the same. I added Binyamin the Yomer, where the days of approaching the days of Aseret Tshuva, the days of Slichas, and then we have an Al-Chet. Al-Chet shechatunu lefanecho b'yetzer hora. Now that's a very strange confession. All chatuim are due to what we call yetzer hora. So what is this chet shechatunu lefanecho b'yetzer hora? The pshat is, what you do isn't so much an avera, but you've got the wrong yetzer hora. The chet is that you yetzer hora is not to build a koilel, it's not to spread mitzvahs, it's not that's not what you have your yetzer hora for. Your yetzer hora that your children shall be Talmid Chachomim. V'hinei toiv, says the Hamedrash, ze yetzer toiv. V'hinei toiv ma'oid, ze yetzer hora. She'lemule yetzer hora, lo imune udam Bais, lo nuse isha. If you had no yetzer hora, if you have no, your yetzer hora should be, you had the wrong yetzer hora. You had your yetzer hora for Narishkeiten. That, I suggest, could be the pshat of Al-Chet shechatunu yetzer hora. And that's all that I said yesterday. It was easy. Yesterday I spoke in Divrei, just because not that very good at Divrei, but I think the court had tzibur. But if I repeat, I didn't have the energy because my Brit isn't good enough, and I wish everybody good Shabbos. And I apologize that you didn't have this Torah. If you don't get this Torah in time for Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.